Do I think the idea of the wipe was cool? Yes, I think the premise was interesting, but I feel like they went a little too far. I feel like all they had to do to make this wipe hardcore would be no flea market. Pretty straightforward. I think everybody could agree with that. No items in secured container while in raid. Also, pretty awesome. I think that would have been a good change. You can still allow meds in the container. You can still allow ammo in the container. No big deal. However, when you're in a raid, does anything go in the container? No, but they didn't do that. 3, the transit system. It's cool on paper, right? It's cool on paper for sure, but the execution is obviously fucking terrible because when you transit, it's literally spawning you into literally like 7 other people and other teams at the same fucking time, and that is obviously not good. It literally goes back to like the boiler spawn like meta that happened like way back in 2018 where you could choose your spawn side and everybody chose the boiler side of customs because that's where all the loot was, and it was just like literally the whole server fighting each other right at the beginning of the raid. It was absolutely ass. Not fun. And so we're kind of experiencing that again with transits. The main problem with the transit system, in my opinion, is one, there's only like 1 transit per map on a map. So for example, on customs, there's only 1 transit to interchange. There's only 1 transit to factory. There's only 1 transit to reserve. It's heavily limited. My suggestion is that every extract, when applicable, should also second as a transit. So for example, all of the ZB bunkers, all of those would be a transit to either factory or potentially another map, because guess what? Those ZB bunker systems are supposed to connect the entire world of Tarkov together through an underground tunnel network system. So if you take a ZB extract, you should be able to have the option to go into any other raid that has a bunker entrance with the ZB door. So that would be reserve, that would be woods, that would be streets, that would be factory, that would be customs. Obviously, you know, depending on where you extract, you wouldn't obviously transit to the same map that you're just in. That wouldn't make any sense. Anyway, I digress. So I think overall, like the idea of the hardcore wipe is cool, but the thing is they just kind of fumbled it. A lot of the systems are frankly like underbaked. Like the transit system doesn't really feel like it was really thought out. They're just like, hey, let's just toggle the transits on. And they didn't really think of like what would happen as to why we're fucking spawning on top of a bunch of people, which feels like absolute shit. I think we can all agree on that. It doesn't feel good. So what can they do to make hardcore better? Well, I don't really know. I don't really care, honestly. Like a lot of people are throwing shade at me, like I said, like saying this hardcore wipe was my idea, and like it's not. Like I don't really think about Tarkov that much anymore. Like I'll still, you know, message Nikita and check up on him and see how him and the studio are doing and the game and stuff like that, but I don't like really suggest shit to him anymore. I would like for certain things to change about the game, that's for sure. I mean, Tarkov, as you know, is not really a game that I enjoy playing a lot of anymore. The only reason I am playing this wipe is because it's like the hardcore wipe, which is like, you know, kind of appealing to me as like kind of a more hardcore gamer. I like my emergent gameplay. I like things immersive. I like having a sense of agency. You know, I stopped playing Tarkov because I got sick of money farming and I got sick of spawn camping. And now guess what? That's like the fucking problem right now. It's like literally spawn camping and all you can do is farm money. There's nothing else to do. And it's just like, okay, like what are we doing? So I think what BSG wanted to do is they wanted to try and capture like an older version of Tarkov where like there used to be Tarkov where there were no quests. Like literally you just went into raids and you scavenged. That's all you did. And the only way that you leveled up traders was by spending money at them to get their next trader level. And you obviously had to meet a level requirement as well. And like there was something like really fun about that because like there weren't players in every single, in all of the same POIs. Players like traffic in terms of like where they moved was very dynamic, and we were kind of experiencing that a bit yesterday. Granted, as of me saying this right now, they did turn quests back on, so you can quest, but you still can't level the traders up because you need 80 million rubles to spend on them, and it requires like level 80 or something like that. So even though you can do quests, you still can't level the traders. However, I still think that's a good thing. The reason why I think that's a good thing is because I think the traders have always been very overpowered in Tarkov for a long time. Even though leveling them up can be quite a bit of a grind, and some of the quests that unlock items, like you deserve to get like a reward for that. But I've always been a big advocate for minimalistic traders that sell like essentials and don't really have like very good ammo or attachments or weapons on them or armor on them. All of that shit should basically be found in raid exclusively and only found in raid. Because like what ends up happening is people level the traders up, they have lots of money, they like play all fucking day, they just like sit there and buy ammo every reset and eventually stock up like a whole fucking stockpile of ammunition and attachments and weapons, that they essentially have an infinite supply of from the traders. And so for me, having a more minimalistic approach to the traders, I think would be good. And second, I think found and raid barters would actually be really fucking cool. Or, well, if there's no flea market, you don't really need found and raid for barters. But just like having like more barters on the traders, making the traders more barter focused, and having, again, if there's no flea, like you actually have to go in a raid to find those things. You can't just buy them off the flea market and then get your item, because that just circumvents the whole idea of it being a barter in the first place. Because like you just have money, buy the item off the flea market, and then you do the barter at the trader, you get your item. Again, it just makes money the main factor there. And so I think like a barter only focused vendor, I think would actually be kind of cool. And again, that's very reminiscent of like the Deadly Slob, like Pestily hardcore challenges that a lot of us know. And that's what a lot of us kind of assumed that this hardcore wipe was going to be like. It was going to be something akin to that. And it is to an extent, but it's also just not. Again, they kind of fumbled it. Another big problem with the wipe is I think the 100% boss spawn chance is actually a mistake. The main reason being is that now people can just farm these bosses, get level 5 face mask, level 6 face mask up to Gilla and Killa. They can get level 5 and 6 armor off of them. They can get really good ammo off of them. And basically now, like the main focal point of the playthrough for most players is spawn into a raid, look for the bosses, kill the bosses, get out of the raid, repeat. And they're basically just farming bosses over and over and over again. And I personally think 100% boss spawn chance would be okay if they didn't always have insanely cracked gear on them. Like for example, I think Rashala and his guards are like a pretty fair boss spawn for the most part. Like, yeah, they have AKs, they have like BT ammo. I got 2 grenade launchers off them the other day. And like, to me, like that's okay. Like whatever, like, you know, they just got like regular shit on them. They don't have anything super crazy, but it's like Killa, Tagilla, Gluhar and his goons. The goons, especially, like those guys have some very good shit, and people are just going to go, especially the more veteran players, they're just going to go and farm these guys on repeat. So I think having 100% boss spawn chance is only okay if the gear that they have isn't absolutely just super insane. Just change the plates that they have in their armor. Maybe change, you know, one of Tagilla's fucking visors to be level 4 instead of level 5. Maybe, you know, have Killa spawn in with level 4 armor, and sometimes he doesn't have his visor on. Stuff like that, you know, but like sometimes they should still spawn with good stuff. They just shouldn't spawn with it all the time. That way there's a little variance there, because I do think lower boss spawn chances is kind of lame, but when it is 100% spawn chance, people know the boss is always going to be there, and so they're just going to bum rush and go into the raid and trying to get the boss. If it was up to me, I would have done something more like 40% boss spawn chance. So it's like going into raid isn't a guarantee, and it's not a coin flip either, but it's like you're still going to have a really highly likelihood that you'll run into a boss that raid, but sometimes you won't. And that also makes it to where players are like, oh, well, okay, no boss here, I'm gonna go do something else. Or like, you know, people won't always go into the raid knowing like, oh, the boss is 100% here, I'm just gonna go and farm them over and over. So again, I feel like that kind of circumvents the whole point of it being hardcore, because like hardcore, we want hobo fights, we want people to have like early game gear, early game items. Like that's like some of the most fun we have playing Tarkov, for those of us who have played a long time, is like those hobo fights. And the hobo phase is probably like the most iconic part, because when you do find a scope, you do find a suppressor, you do find a good gun, you do find like good armor, you do find good ammo, you're like, oh fuck yeah, this is awesome, like I need this, like this is a good item. Because you know you can't just go to the traders and buy it, can't get it off the flea market, and it's, you know, kind of rare. And that gives like a good sense of agency for you, because like it gives you goals and desires for things in the game. That's something that you want to experience as a player. So like I said, I think a 40% boss spawn chance would be like a good, like happy medium, to where it's like bosses can still spawn in more often, but they're not like all the time. Because when it is all the time, people are they're going into the raids and they're just farming bosses on repeat. And that's like the main focal point for everybody, because they can't level traders. So what else are you going to do to get the good gear to stay competitive so you can have good items? You're going to go farm bosses and you're going to try and get their shit. You know, having a Tagilla face mask and a level 5 or 6 plate right now means like you can literally just W key at most people and you're not going to die. Like most people are not going to have good ammo in this point in the wipe, and you know that. And that is something that I've always disliked. I personally think, if anything, the boss spawn chances should have been 0%. Maybe that's just me. Or if anything, maybe like a very low percent. Just because like when you do get that very good gear so early on, it basically makes it easy mode for you. You can go in, W keying, knowing that nobody has ammo to kill you, whereas late wipe, it's different. You know, everybody's got M61, M995, like you can't just W key everybody. You actually have to play kind of carefully. You know, me and Desmond were playing yesterday and he had like Tagilla on and like a killer armor and stuff. And he's like, oh, this guy's got a pistol. He just literally just runs at him and kills him because he knows he can't die unless he like, you know, really fucks up. And in my mind, it's like, that's not a good thing, because like you want to have like a good skill check early wipe for people. That's not just, oh, I have better gear than you, I win. That's not really fun gameplay, in my opinion. That's not a good thing. No, and that's true. Desmond runs through people regardless. It's not a dig at Desmond or anything like that. He's a very fucking good player at the game. I'm not digging him. He's my friend. But I'm just saying, like, that is the reality when you have good equipment and it's readily abundantly available in the raid off of the bosses, because once you kind of figure out the bosses, they're not that hard to kill. That to me causes a problem, because again, like, that gear makes a massive difference in your ability to survive. The difference is even though Desmond is a great player, Desmond with Tagilla and Killa armor on with like a fucking meta AK versus him with the 6B and like a level 4 armor with his face exposed gives that pistol Timmy actually a chance. That's the difference. Like, yeah, he's still probably gonna lose in like most of those encounters, but the difference is with the gear, that Timmy's never winning. He literally has 0 probability of ever winning that fight in the first place. Yeah, he's definitely worse than a boss for sure. So yeah, I mean, Tarkov wipe is cool, like, but at the same time, it's not. Like, there's some good here, there's some bad there. I think it's kind of in between. Like yesterday, when I finished my like 10-hour stream, like I was kind of feeling like a little bit. I had like mixed feelings. You know, I was like, like this feels weird. I like parts of it, but I don't like parts of it. Like, I didn't really know how I felt about it, man. Like I said, it was very much like a in-between style feeling. So I'm curious on what you guys are thinking right now, especially after some of the changes. They obviously implemented quests. We got questing now. We have potentially changes to transits coming in. They said they're gonna try and fix transit so that it's not as brutal and stuff. So where are we at, chat? What do you excuse me, what do you guys think? Yeah, I honestly, this whole shit, like, this has need to been gone from the game like 10 years ago, bro. Like, you just take a PK, you fucking jump off a building, you land stiff-legged, and you just fucking can shoot stuff. Like, I hate that so much, bro. That shit's, it's so dumb. How is that still in the game? Like, literally all they gotta do is just do a hero pose. Like, it's cool that you break your legs, great. But like, you should, like, Battlefield 3 had this, like, literally fucking like 10 years ago, bro. Like, you fell off a high thing, your character goes like this. He goes, oh, and he like, all the momentum comes down and he puts his hand on the ground, superhero pose, and then he gets up. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so dog shit. It's so stupid. Why do you think Russians care? It literally has nothing to do with them being Russian. You're just being ignorant as fuck. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot of oversights with stuff like that in Tarkov. Like, for example, one oversight of like gameplay mechanics is obviously like falling stiff-legged and you can just fucking shoot and there's no like momentum or animations for the character falling down. Another one is the slide. The slide has literally been in the game since pre-alpha Tarkov, like since I played in 2016. It's literally still been the same exact thing. It's just like, and then just like the gun comes up in like a millisecond, and it's just something that AI used to glitch exploit you and like fucking kill a slide dog shit crap. It's fucking crap. Fuck that shit. The slide is retarded. And a lot of other just like weird like things that have just lingered in this game for so long and just literally have not changed at all. No, the pivot's still a thing too, yeah, where like you turn like a little bit and your character just like rotates his legs like this instead of like gradually like, you know, kind of like stepping. Like Stalker 2 did that shit really well. Like Stalker's like animation for how the character turned his feet and everything and like how you rotated your character was so amazing. But in Tarkov, it's like you look a little bit, you look a little bit this way, like it's just like all of this like really rough crap that's just still been in the game for so long. And like you'll get to that point where it's like you kind of like you aim your gun a little bit and then it shifts your aim, and then you look a little bit and then it shifts your aim, and it's just like there's like this dead zone where it's like you'll fucking flick your character around. It's so fucking annoying. It's just a lot of jank things that are still in the game after all this time that really need to get polished out.